Hey everybody, it's Dr. Cody Rall with Tech for Psych. First off, I'd like to do a big shout out to Interaxon for coming out with the Muse 2 headband. I'll have a review video with this device in a couple of weeks. It's going to be perfect for the grounding exercises and the calibration that I like to do with my Muse meditation because it tracks things like breath, heart rate, and body stillness on top of the regular EEG signal. So I can't wait to roll up my meditation program into using with the Muse 2. Now I want to transition this video into taking a look at a meditation session that I did a couple of weeks ago that was just excellent. In the video, I walk you through the techniques and the data to show you what I was experiencing. It was an incredible meditation session and I hope you enjoy it. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe and click the bell to get notifications when I upload new content. I really appreciate your viewership and I hope you enjoy the video.
Hey guys, Dr. Cody Rall here. So I just had this really great 20-minute meditation session this morning, and I was looking at the data and I realized I should really make a video out of this because this illustrates perfectly this epic experience. And when you take a look at the data, it actually illustrates the little journey that I just went through. So this description of what I'm doing is really what I'm trying to replicate with my clients. I really do feel like these experiences will make people totally addicted to meditation and feel inspired to do it every day and make lifestyle changes to improve their health simply because the meditation sessions get even better. So before the session, I went through some simple stretches and grounding exercises that helped me build general awareness of my surroundings, general awareness of my internal milieu through a body scan, and doing some practices that I've been developing recently with some pulling focus on my brow point, or brow chakra as a lot of people call it. I feel like this sets the stage and opens up your physiology for more exploration during the meditation session. And as I've explained in my last several videos, brain scan data like functional MRI, connectivity studies, and tractography have illustrated the fact that we have different brain circuits that turn on and off depending on where our focus points are. And we know that through meditation, we can get these different brain circuits to reach different frequency firing patterns that are picked up by the EEG, by the Muse, and allow for more widespread resonance firing patterns in the brain. And it's my belief that this really shapes our experiences that we can get through meditation. And if you're interested in the neuroscience behind that, take a look at my neuroimaging talk that's linked below this video. So after the grounding exercises, I was ready for my meditation session, and I've been splitting up my 20-minute morning meditation sessions into 2 10-minute periods so that I can recalibrate halfway through and add a little variance to the session. And typically it makes the second session go that much better. Normally I get up a little earlier than the time that's indicated here, but hey, it's Saturday, it's the weekend, and I needed a little bit more sleep this morning to recuperate from being in clinic all week. Now, after my grounding exercises, I move into the Muse meditation. First, I let it determine that there's good connectivity between the device and my scalp. And then when it starts calibrating with those percentage points, I'm purposefully focusing on my brow point while it's assessing my brainwave activity. And then it goes right into the meditation session. So you can see right at the start of the graph, there's this burst of theta and beta activity. And this is because I'm consciously redirecting my attention from my brow point to my sacral point for this focused breathing. And this results in a bunch of chaos in the audio feedback, but it's normal for redirecting attention, so it doesn't surprise me at all when it's happening. And this is actually where the Muse device is really helpful because after I'm focused on the sacral point, I attempt to get back to a calm, more serene scene by focusing on my breath and trying to get birds. And this is how it helps ground you after redirecting attention. So during the session, I stayed there for about 2 minutes, and during this time, I'm usually just settling in, allowing my brain to fall into the rhythm of the breath, and just waiting for things to start happening. During these few minutes, things on the audio neurofeedback from the Muse were relatively calm, but I really wasn't getting any birds, and I felt the need to go deeper. It was like I wasn't breaking through this superficial layer of just sitting there focusing on my breath. So at some point about 2 minutes in, I felt the urge to return my focus to the brow point and try to expand my perception a bit and try to open up these brain and central nervous system pathways a bit. And this feeling, this intuition is difficult to describe on here in a video. And it's really one of those things that I think that you develop over time with meditation practice. There's just this intuition that if you change things up a bit in terms of your focus and awareness, you can enter new and interesting experiences on your little meditation journey. So you see this little spike at about 2.5 minutes where I decided to redirect my attention to my brow point, and then some neutral activity while I'm sort of exploring that and seeing how that feels. But then almost immediately got this intuition of like, you know what, I rather feel like I want to focus on the center of my chest near the heart chakra. And this has been happening to me more and more over the last couple of weeks. It might have to do with some new relationships that I've formed. But regardless, when I did that and I focused my focus on that area, you see this big spike in activity between 3 and 5 minutes. And really what that was is it just felt like this huge surge of energy that was coming into me. And this awareness of me being like, whoa, 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 this is insane. Like, what's going on here? And just feeling like the hairs on the back of my arms just stand up. And naturally, the scene went chaotic. And that's normal. When you have these experiences, these rushes, and you're consciously experiencing them and kind of trying to process it, I think the brain naturally kicks into those higher frequency states that are sort of the analysis of what's going on. And you're going to go through cycles of calm, serenity, and these rushes of energy as you go further and further in these sessions, so that hopefully what happens is the physiology opens up and you really actually, in the end, enter a deeper, more calm state of meditation because you've gone through these cycles. So after the big burst in energy, I continued to sit with my breath on the heart focus point, and using the Muse, grounded myself so things returned to relative normality on the audio feedback. But I could tell that I've completely entered a new spot in the meditation session. I felt incredibly calm, zoned in, and the focus was all on the mid-range of my body. And I felt like this deep appreciation for everything that was going on in my life. And when the session ended, it took me a minute or two to open my eyes to start another session. So this is at the end of the 10-minute session, and I wanted to do a total of 20 minutes. And I knew I wanted to do the next 10 minutes, but I was in such a pleasant spot after that rush of energy, and then the come down of that, and then just being in this very, very serene, great spot. I didn't even want to open my eyes because it was so pleasant. But I'm glad that I did, because the next session got even better. So for the next session, I decided to calibrate right where I was, focused on the heart chakra, the mid-range of my body. And immediately in this next session, you notice that I started to get a lot of birds. And you can see that the overall baseline is lower on the second session than the first. And I think that this is because the software recognized that I had a lot of alpha theta activity at that point, and that if I stayed in the same spot, things would go well. So here's where the software and audio feedback continues to really help me focus on my breath and further enhance that state that I've been able to develop over the last 10 to 15 minutes, or about 20 minutes if you count the grounding exercises that I did before the meditation session. And I would say that there was a world of difference between the depth of my first session and my second session. And you can see the overall baseline of the second session having moved down, despite the fact that I calibrated when I was already in a very deep meditative state. So as I moved further in the second meditation session, just focusing on my breath and the mid-range of my body, I was feeling incredible. There was a little distraction at about 2 minutes where a big plane flew over my house, but I was just still feeling really good, and it was easy to calm back down, and I was just getting birds constantly. And then at some point I felt another urge to return to my brow point, and boom, another huge rush of energy. Like, this one was even more intense than the one in the previous session. And I felt like this sense of awe, like, holy moly, this is a good session. And you can see that big spike of activity around 4 minutes where that happened. And then right after that, got even deeper into meditation. At this point, I was focusing more, like I said, on the brow point. So I was feeling very light and clear and present, and had this sense that I was tapping into something ancient and powerful. And that's the best way that I know how to describe it, but it was immensely enjoyable. So I probably sat there for about 5 to 10 minutes when the Muse device had even turned off, just to further enjoy that gentle hum of energy. No conscious effort in making that happen, just enjoying the energy that I had created during the session. And it took me a little while to sort of open my eyes and come back to the present moment. And as I talk to you here, about an hour after the session, I'm still feeling that calm, really serene energy, and I hope to keep it with me as I move through my tasks for the day. I'm looking forward to a long 10 plus mile run at some point today, and I have no doubt that that energy will help me zone out and block out the pain as I put pavement behind me and allow me just to enjoy the cool fall air and the autumn that we have going on here in the area. So I hope you enjoyed this talk. I hope it made sense. I think that taking a look at these brainwave patterns, making notes about your experiences and talking about them is really educational, and it's the process that I'm going through currently with my clients. I'm really excited to explore these concepts more with you guys and continue to take a look at new technologies to enhance our self-development practices here on Tech for Psych. Thanks so much for the listen. Really appreciate it. Talk to you again sometime soon.